Okay, so this is just a test today. So this is the process to shooting the ball correctly. So you want to make sure your chest is up, and the importance of that is the position of your head. So you don't want to be leaned over because that results in you having to lean your neck back. It's better if you do it from here. There's a lot less needing to bend the neck. So when you descend, you want to bend. You want to keep your upper body straight still. You don't want to arch it forward, and you don't want to lean back. You want to remain. You want to bend right at the knees and feel it through like you're sitting down. So you sit down, your butt's back, and you're still straight. Now, when you get down here, you want to pause. You want to stop. That stop is to make sure that everything is right. Okay. Now, once, actually, even before you get down into the squat, what you're gonna want to do is you want to eyeball the rim. Now, people tell you focus on the back of the rim. Really, what matters is not so much where you focus, as making sure that you do focus in the area, not necessarily on anything specific, but just you're focusing on the rim. And the importance of that is our field of vision is, when we shoot, we want to maintain the thought process all the way through. By maintaining focus, we eliminate the distraction that comes from changing our field of vision. So if we make that a priority, we say, okay, when I'm done shooting, I should still be looking right where this is. What that does is, well, as you'll see later on in the shot, what happens is that's a helpful way to remember to keep your shoulders square, to make sure that there isn't a lot of body movement. Because in a shot, it really is a very basic, motion. Now, the thinking behind it can be a little complex, but the actual shot itself is very important. So let's go a little further. So now I've made focus with the hoop. I'm going down with my chest up. The eyes are still focused the same way. Now, once I'm down here in a comfortable position, I'm not going to bounce or do anything. The next movement will be straight up, just like that. Down, up. Now, thinking over it, the importance of the legs that's what gives all the power to your arm and your wrist and your hand. So when you're down here, again, this goes to the field of vision, to the focus. If you come down and you bounce, you're going to distract. You're going to lose the thought process. So you want to make sure that your body remains still when you come down. No bounce. And again, happens is now we're not gonna worry about the arm position at the moment. What we're gonna do though is we're gonna show the importance of the legs. So when you come down, first remember gain focus, come on the hoop, chest up. Now you lower down to a comfortable position. Now, like I said, one movement. What's gonna happen is lift up, the power from the legs is going to transfer all to the arms. And again, this is where the focus will help you ensure that you're taking the power from your legs and putting them into the right place, which is your arms, which is your shooting arm. Your shoulders, sometimes you want to absorb some power from the legs. And the reason for this is your legs are both powerful, are incredibly powerful. And it does not take a lot or your legs to power the ball, power your arm, and as a consequence, the ball. So we develop little ticks that we aren't aware of in order to counteract the power of our legs. And that's where, so let me show you what I mean. So not most, but I'm going to show you exactly how to use the arms properly. Your arm should have no tension. Your wrist should have no tension. Nothing should have tension, but these are going to remain loose. And we're going to make sure that we focus that all the power from our legs goes through our hands and arms. And by maintaining the focus, what happens is that reminds us that if there's a lot of head movement or a lot of shoulder movement, well, that means that the power from our legs has been removed it's being diverted, part of it. And what that does is it causes a distraction. And what happens as well is that creates also body movement, and the body movement just means it's an extra step to have to try to include in the thought process. And again, this is why keeping the movement as basic as possible is so important. So now again, I'll do it again rather quickly. So pause. After we maintain focus, chest up, arm completely loose when we stand. Arm reaches for the sky using the power of the legs. Now, so now let's focus on the other part of the shooting, which is the arm. Now, what we want to do is a lot of people will tell you that you want to put your hand in front of your head. Now, the problem with putting your hand in front of your head is when we shoot and we accept and our arm takes the power from our legs, the arm dictates the arm dictates the speed and distance of the ball, basically. And it does that by well, really it's less complicated than that. I'm sorry, but what happens is the arm really, you want it to go straight up. And what happens is the arm is what powers the hand. The hand and really the fingertips is what tells the ball where to go. So we want to make sure that we're only using our fingertips to be the guiding force in the ball. The arm is the power, well, the legs are the power. The arm is the power that gets directly fed to the ball, and the fingertips are what directs the ball. So let's do this. Okay, so focus on the rim, chest up. Now remember, we want to remain loose, completely loose throughout our body. Okay, so now we go down after we've got the main focus. We're not bouncing. Now we want to line our elbow up. Now, oh, I forgot to finish that thought. Now the reason why we don't want it in our head is because it's an unnatural position. And when we do that, what happens is we're having to do this with our hand because we're trying to go straight up. But as you can see, my arm is not straight up. So really, the best thing to do as far as arm position is concerned is to, when you go down, you want to find where your arm is comfortable, and usually that's going to be right with your shoulder more than your face. But you want to find that spot in there, because when you finish, you want your hand to be up here. You don't want it to be over here, because if your hand is over here, that means that it has to do an unnatural motion. What ends up happening is that you compensate by tightening your hand, by twisting your hand, and that causes it's a less controllable shot by doing that. And it adds moving parts. And again, every time you add something that isn't a direct part of the shot, it creates distraction and can throw you off your thought process, or it will actually throw you off your thought process. So let's do this. Let's do a full shot. So I'm maintaining focus with the chest up, down. Now we're going to line the arm up with the hoop. And remember, if you don't feel like the elbow's lined up with the hoop, then you're going to pivot, because, well, it doesn't matter if you pivot, but you're going to turn your shoulder or your elbow as the guiding thing towards the hoop. So right here, let's say I'm right here. That I'm too open to the hoop. I want to turn so that my shoulder and elbow are at the hoop. Okay. Now again, focus, down, elbow up. Now we're gonna go straight up. The hand's gonna go straight up, and then the fingertips are gonna guide the ball right at the hoop. When we're done, we should be like this. Okay. So focus, down, elbow, up. Now, the final step in all this, and really the most important factor, even more important than anything I've said here, is how you finish your shot. Because how you finish your shot will directly influence all the steps prior. Because in order for you to end up wherever you're at, requires your body to do things to get you to that spot. So what I mean is a lot of people will have a very nice shot. What they'll do is they'll fall away. What happens is, in order for you to be falling away from your shot has to incorporate the movements. So what's happening is there's the distraction from the movement, your head movement, shoulder movement, all that stuff. So you're not maintaining a line. And then secondly, what it does is it's communicating to yourself that I don't think I'm going to make it, because really if you think you're going to make it makes sense that you'd want to just stand there and just watch it. Because, well, I mean, really in my mind I see the falling away, the fading away, the quick shots, all that, those are all signs of trying to just play basketball by luck. And what I'm trying to do is to do a more thoughtful process. So, okay, so what I mean is getting back to the main point here, the most important factor in a shot is you gotta think process, you gotta, rather than result, you gotta think, how am I gonna finish is gonna be more important than anything else, because that's gonna directly influence everything prior to that. Okay, so I'll show you the difference right now. So let's say I come up, I make focus, I get down, I'm comfortable, I go straight up, and then I just fall away. Now right there, everything I did prior to that was in the shot right. But because I had committed myself to falling away, what happens is right when I go to shoot, I'm already turning. That's affecting my shot. I'm distracting myself, I'm losing focus. So now let's do something else. This time I'm not going to shoot correctly. I'm just going to stand here. I'm going to maintain complete balance, and I'm going to use follow through, and I'm going to maintain focus. And you can see that went in. Where's the other shot? I used terrible focus. Because what I did there was I gave myself stability. And stability means that not only am I not distracting myself, but but it allows me to make adjustments on my shot because my thought process is then continued. Whereas if I distract myself, I've already committed myself to whatever I've put in my head. And so you can't make the adjustments that you can, the subtle adjustments that you can when you maintain your stability, when you maintain your balance. So I'll show you again. Down, focus on the hoop, chest up, goofy, go bouncy, straight up. Okay, so now the final step, and something that frankly I'm still working on here. The second most important, or maybe equally as important, factor in making a shot is how the ball comes off your hand. This is the final, this is how everything is transferred to the ball. And one of the things I've discovered in redoing my shot is there's a tendency to allow the ball to sit on the fingertips when you go to shoot. But what ends up happening is a way, like I said, we attempt to try to diffuse the power from our legs because it seems a little uncontrollable, like the ball's going to go too high. But so what we end up doing is, in order to sort of deaden that, this is the last line of defense from the energy from our legs, is that although we will go up and then we'll go to shoot and it'll look great to everyone else, what will happen is the hands will flatten out. The ball will roll back onto the lower parts of the finger. It'll end up on the hand. And what that does is it lowers the amount of energy because now you're pushing the ball through the whole hand rather than directly putting the energy through the smaller area of your fingertips. And what that does is, more importantly, or equally as importantly, is you lose that control that you have when you use your fingertips. And so what ends up happening is the ball falls back, or as a secondary part of this, is when you finish, another part of the fingertip thing is you'll start to tense your hand. We have a tendency to think tension means push, direction, and power, but really what it does is by tensing the hand up, again, we're diffusing the power from our legs. It's the exact opposite effect. So you want to maintain a loose, well, loose is the name of the game, relaxed. So I'll show you what I mean. So here, down, focus, up. I don't know if you can see that, probably not. But that one I allowed the ball to roll back. I flattened out my hand. Now this one, that one I didn't so much. Alright, so let's just do a few practices. Down, focus on the hoop. Up. On that one, I didn't maintain balance. I leaned back on my heels. And just that little bit's enough, like I said, to cause a distraction, to lose our mind. And so, ideally, when we shoot, this is when you'll finally have it all set, is when you go down, when you finish, just standing there like you've expected to make it. And really that confidence really communicates into your shot. And the more you learn to do that, again, this is about process, not result at this point. The more you do that, the more you encourage yourself to believe that you're going to make it. And when you get that confidence, you will find a way. And if you don't, you will never find a way. So again, really, finish is the most important part. And if you take a look at any great athlete that uses a swing or a shot or a throw, if you look at them, whatever they're doing, when they throw, the shoulders maintain balance. you're swinging a baseball bat, if you look at all the great ones, their shoulders remain balanced. But not only do they remain balanced, there's a pause at the end of their swing. And that is to ensure that there is actual balance. Because if you swing a bat like this, and let's say you just swing through and you just fall over, it may look good, but there's a problem in your swing somewhere, because when you finish, you should be able to stay, your shoulder should be able to stay parallel, and you should be able to withstand, and just like a shot, you should be able to withstand a slight shove from someone. You're communicating to yourself, I'm gonna make this. And again, you're gonna make more, because by maintaining this. See, on that one I started to walk away prior to knowing what the result was. And that's a built-in thing that I'm trying to get over. But what happens is right here, if I maintain fingertip control and I go up, I can make subtle adjustments to the shot. And right here when I'm shooting around, it's not as important. I want to get the same motion each time. But if I'm playing out against someone, and let's say they come out at me, I want to be able to say, okay, I want to go even higher. And you can only do that really when you have actual control. See, the secondary bounce on the fall through, that's another thing to watch for. Oh shit. Right. Focus, pause, remain relaxed, elbow, fingertip, straight up. Pause, focus, elbow, straight up. Elbow in. That's always a good one to remember. Down. Oh, and ideally, which I'm not doing, you go as slow as possible to show yourself that the legs do power the arm. I mean, that's the most important, or that's a very important concept to really make second nature. And it can take a while to really understand the connection between the arm and the leg, and to know that there should be no power that comes from the arm. That all the power should come from the legs. And what that does is it allows you to maintain better control. And, well, I mean, really, so one motion, see, down, up, hand at the, or, oh, so, and I'm going down here, through the fucking arm.